You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA Podcasting.
The wasteland is a host of apocalyptic mess, and the star survivor wanders out about to leave the rest. The spirit is sending out the gamma rays from deep within for frozen atomic waves. From deep within for frozen atomic waves.
Welcome to the 63rd edition of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. It's the third episode of Season 7. We are the show that compares and contrasts Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quest with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Welcome, everyone. Howdy, I am Andrew. Welcome to the show, everybody. Tonight, we have a little bit of a different lineup. Ray is out on business. Sarah, feeling under the weather this evening, got the flu. Hopefully she's having fun over in her gaming bed, recovering. Speedy recovery, Sarah. And welcome back next week. Ray did chime in because we do have a little bit of news to get into this week, and also wanting to chime in on some of this news, we have guest for this evening, Alex. Hello, Alex. Strong is here for Alex. Alex will be getting to some of these new patch notes. There's a big patch coming out here pretty soon. I think PC first, and then the consoles coming out shortly after that. But for our roundtable participants this evening, we'll be getting into some quests. We'll be doing our third, fourth, and fifth quests of the season. Thirst Things First, Second Helpings, and Final Departure. Now, I did a big mistake earlier, and I did not post the actual real schedule, and I left out Final Departure off of our schedule. That has now been updated, so everyone's sending in feedback next week. Go ahead and take another look at the schedule if you just took a look at it at the beginning of the season and wrote stuff down. Maybe take another gander at that schedule, because I've updated it a little bit to include another quest that you would need to cover for next week called Final Departure. So we'll get Thirst Things First, Second Helpings, and Final Departure. And for our roundtable participants this evening, we have Jen. Hello, Jen.
Hello.
Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
So happy to be here.
Very nice to speak with you. And returning as well to the show, we have Josh. Hi, Josh.
Hello.
Welcome back, sir. Wonderful to have you again. So, guys, we've got some roundtable stuff to get into. We've got some patch notes to get into. Ray sent us patch notes audio updates, and we'll probably have Alex give us a little brief introduction to see what some of his highlights he's excited about in this patch. I saw him post in the Facebook group, or maybe it was in the maybe just one of our chat threads, but he's excited about some of these patches. We've also got Fallout Terminal Velocity number 12, Radioactive Rebecca is heading over to Corvega to look for some terminals. So that will be our show for this evening, everyone. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Jen, have you played any Fallout this week?
I did. I played today. It's been a really busy week, but I did get to play over the weekend, and I played some today to catch up with Final Departure.
Oh, nice. I was hoping that someone would get to it. I actually got around to playing Final Departure earlier today, and I went over to Twitch and I streamed it. So if anyone's interested, it'll be up on Twitch for the next, I don't know, they keep them for a little while. So go over to twitch.tv/ASA Podcasting if you'd like to see my run through Final Departure. So you got through Final Departure today. You got through the other two earlier in the week or whatever before you got all busy, I hope.
Yes.
You would have had to. So.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Have you been doing anything else besides roundtable stuff? What sort of mess have you been getting into otherwise?
So my beta character, my original character, the OG, as Sarah calls them, characters, I reached level 50, and I had a I know, and now Scorch Beasts seem to spawn in pairs for me, which is very exciting. Yeah, so I was with Rebecca over the weekend, running around doing stuff, and we were doing a thing in Watoga at the top of a building.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and fighting off all these robots. Scorched came. I died a whole lot, and then she showed up, and she was like, "Hey, what's going on?" So I said, "Maybe you can help me get my death bag back because it's on the top of the roof." And
Wait, who came running to you? Sarah?
no, Rebecca.
Oh, Rebecca. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
we've
was
been
thinking
friends
neither of
forever.
those are PS4. Rebecca, okay.
Yeah,
She came in. You're on top of a building in Watoga.
yeah, and I'm supposed to be fighting these robots, and then a scorch beast shows up, and everything just got really, really bad. So we tried a few times, and I said, "Look, I'm just going to call it. We'll do something fun for a little while." So I found this really cool underground tunnel that runs along the main road in the cranberry bog.
I know this one.
Do you know the tunnel?
People can camp down there.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah,
You can can you build a camp down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's where I'm going to move.
Do
It's
it.
so gorgeous.
It's
Except
cool
for
'cause
down
you can
there.
build below and above
Oh,
wherever you put your camp on it.
Nice.
Yep.
It's
And if you
nice
do it close enough to the radio, you can have a radio in your house.
Oh.
Oh. And you're in the cranberry box, so you can have the most horrifying creatures on Earth, and you're back in the dark.
You have to sleep with one eye open always.
Get a Scorch Beast queen, tethered out back.
Oh God. So I said, "Hey, let me show you this really cool tunnel." And she's like, "Oh, this is great." So we go walking through the tunnel, and then we get to a workshop. It's like the abandoned bog town. And
I know what's happening next.
yeah, do you? Because I don't know if this is normal. We set up, we get she gets her little line of turrets up. I get my, we both blueprinted. She taught me how to blueprint a thing so that you can, when you get a workshop set up, you can have instant defenses. And it says, you take the workshop, it's all good. And then it says defend the workshop. And after the countdown, it says defend the workshop against the Scorch Beast.
Oh.
But 2 spawned.
Mm-hmm.
So I was building stash boxes, and they would get blown up. And I built a stash box. I'm out of ammo. Everything's busted. She's running out of ammo. Her guns are busted. Our armor's breaking everywhere. And I grabbed mini nukes, my 3 that I had, and I tried. It was pretty brutal. It was a brutal fight, and then we went somewhere else and were attacked by Scorch Beasts as well. So it was just,
Aye.
it was a punishing day. So I was really happy to come back to my Roundtable character who's only level 11 and, fight some level 1 mole rats for a while.
That definitely helps the confidence level there, huh?
Yeah. The adrenaline too.
What are you doing up on the top of the building? What's that about?
It's a quest.
Yeah, mayor for a day.
Oh yeah, I've actually got the quest to go find the mayor's office, but I always got killed trying to get into that building.
That quest has an excellent reward. I won't say what it is.
Does it? I feel like I need like 15 people with me up there in power.
It is a lot of gutsies, yeah.
It's a lot of gutsies, and I went down, or I respawned down at the bottom of the building, and 5 assaultrons. 5. I counted them.
Oh, good Lord.
After I got through the gutsies and the protectorons, 5 assaultrons came for me, and I died fast.
I love that one of the daily challenges last week was kill 20 robots or something. I was like, I know where I'm going. Hightail it straight to the city of the future.
Yeah, so I'm not tackling that for a little while yet. I'm going to give it a rest.
That's fun. Hey, Josh, what sort of Fallout have you been playing?
I've tried to do a couple of the quests. I did Thirst Things First and Second Helpings. I did not do the Final Departure yet.
Oh, that's fine. We'll make Jen talk about that one.
Oh, sounds good. But I've been trying to do as many of the events as possible, but it seems like either I get there and it's a little bit too late, or it seems like I keep doing the same ones.
Do you have any favorites that you like to do?
The fertile soil seems to pop up all the time for me.
Yeah,
And so
remind
that's
us about the fertile soil real quick.
that's the one where you have to go and kill the supervisors for the farms, and then reset them. The Mr. Handies.
Yeah, it's like at the Vault Tech greenhouse or whatever it's
Yes.
called there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's 3 Protectron bosses, you're right, that you got to go
Yeah.
through those, and then a bunch of Mr. Handy farmer guys, I think, running around.
Yeah. Yep.
And yeah, I got to go inside and reset some terminal or something. Is it down in the basement? Where is that terminal?
Yes. Yeah, it's down in the basement.
Yeah, that's a good one. And is that the one that gives you the cans of stew? No. What is that one?
No.
That's Feed the People.
Feed the People. That one pops off a lot for me.
At Mama Dolce.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that one's constantly starting up.
Mm-hmm.
That one's going a lot. Any other favorite events there, Josh?
I can't remember the name of it, but it's the tea kettle one, where you have to stop the different waves of bugs from
tea time.
Yes, tea time. Thank you.
They have like different water pipes, like steam pipes connected to the kettle. There's, I think, 3 different locations, right? And they send a few different waves of baddies that, you know, there's like a wolf and an ant and a tick, and they send a lot of different things. I remember having to spark that event. Spoiler alert, everyone! Future quest thing here coming up. You have to get wolf blood at some point for some inoculation project or something. But in order to get that wolf blood, I couldn't find any. I could not get a damn wolf to spark anywhere in the whole damn game. And then I was like, oh, Tea Time, I think, had one. So I went and did that event again, and sure enough, another wolf popped up. So yeah, Tea Time is pretty useful.
Yeah. And I also did the Gorge Junkyard. I've been doing that. Taking over that settlement.
That's the spot.
Except it kept kicking me off the server after I'd paid the caps and after I defended it. And so then I came back to it and couldn't get any of the resources. So
that's bullshit.
Yeah, that was kind of a pain in the ass, but oh well.
I know I mentioned it last week, but I've just recently started taking over the workshops a lot too, and that Gorge one is by far one of my favorites to get because not only does it have a junk spot that you can mine, but there's also the black titanium right there, which is one of the more rare, more sought after artifacts in the game. So they on purpose put it right next to the vault so that low level people and all sort of access people can get this location that has the coveted materials. Mm-hmm. And so therefore sort of promoting a PvP type scenario right off the bat for a lot of folks there.
Yeah, and before I heard last week's episode, I didn't know about the excavators. I'd never built them before at the workshops, so I did. And I ended up, that one also has a concrete excavator that you can put in. Yeah,
right out there outside the door. Yeah. There's another pile there too that I never set up. It might be aluminum or no, it's probably not aluminum. I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't know. What I'm really wanting to do next. Alex and I were talking about it earlier. There's in these challenges, I didn't even realize this challenge menu existed until like a week or 2 ago when Alex was talking about these challenges. I'm like, what do you mean challenges? Daily challenges? Okay. All right. So I went and looked at them, and one of the challenges is to move your camp 76 times. So I've done it like 14 times or something like that now. Alex moved his like 40 sometimes. It's like, holy fuck.
Oh wow.
But, I wondered if some carried from the beta, because that's when I would move it the most.
Yeah, probably so. But I want to move, my camp to. I really want to discover all of the workshops. How many are there? I still don't even know how many workshops there are.
I've not counted.
But I want to look at because they list all their materials, what they provide there, what you can mine right on the menu if you highlight them on the map. So I want to find the one that has the most sought after items that I would love to get, and then build my camp just right next to that, so I don't have to always be fast traveling, going all over the place. So that when I start my game, I'm right at a place that I want to start. I've been doing that at the Gorge recently, just sort of when I log off instead of going back home. I've been going back home, dumping all my stuff, and then fast traveling to the Gorge so that I'm right outside of that. when I start my game, I can go ahead and get the black titanium scrap going. But I don't even really need to do that anymore. I've got my excavator power armor.
Mhm.
Alex
Oh, nice.
that. So, what
Yeah.
else do I need the black titanium scrap for? Do I need to? Can I stop collecting that now? Or is it useful for anything else? I can't like make fucking ballistic weave or anything with it, can I? Because that would be amazeballs.
I cannot remember off the top of my head if you need that for the repairing. I don't think you do.
Oh,
But I
no,
can't remember
think about
because
repairing, yeah.
it's been a long time since I've repaired. They're so durable, you hardly ever need to.
I haven't even thought about repairing it yet. I mean, granted, I don't wear it constantly.
Yeah.
I do wear it, about half the time now. It's just I really like the way it looks. That new Transformers Bumblebee movie came out, and it looks. I'm like, that looks exactly like my excavator power armor, man.
Similar color scheme for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And the headlights on his shoulders, like the warning red
Yeah.
warning lights, look like headlights for the.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty sweet.
Hey, Andrew, another note on those extractors.
Yeah, yeah.
In dealing with your camp, there are actually deposits around the map that aren't part of workshops. They're just randomly throughout the map. And if you build your camp on top of them, you can have that extractor at your camp.
Wait, okay. So you went to my camp when I was on the lip of the Toxic Valley with all the reindeer and stuff looking over the valley there.
Yes.
Just down the hill, there was a tiny, just one little speck of black titanium to mine. Every time I log in, I would like fall down the cliff because if you build your camp on a cliff, you will inevitably reload in every time about 30 feet below.
Yeah.
So I would have to hop up the cliffside, and there was a spot that I would always stop at to pick up this black titanium ore. It was the ore, it wasn't the scrap. So I would have to like put 3 of them together to make one of the scraps. But sometimes it would give me 2 or 3 at a time. So
that's the kind of thing that if you can build on top of it, you should be able to put up an extractor.
But it's not like one of the big pits, though. You know what I mean? It's only a little tiny spot.
Yeah, that probably won't work. But there are like the larger junk piles and lead deposits, copper, concrete.
Have you seen a black titanium pit that you could build on anywhere else in the game?
Not that I've noticed, no.
Okay. Nice. All right, guys. Well, we're getting the show sort of rolling here. Before we get into roundtable characters and stuff, I figured we should look into these patch notes. Alex, highlights right off the top of your head. What are you excited about?
The first one that really struck me, just because it's something we've been dealing with since Far Harbor, is the lever action rifles. Like you shoot 1 bullet and you would have to reload all 5 if you wanted to reload. So now they're fixing that to where if you shoot 2 bullets, you'll reload 2 bullets. The way it should be. And that is still to this day not fixed on Fallout 4, but they're fixing it in this game and it's excellent.
That's hilarious. Are they still pushing patches for 4?
I don't think so.
They've done with that.
I thought they might have added a few fixes with Creation Club things, but probably not anymore.
Yeah. So explain that just a little bit more to me. I'm not quite understanding. So you have your you said the lever action rifle.
Yep.
It you fire 2 bullets and then you go to reload and it takes 5 out of your inventory.
Well, no, the animation just shows you reloading 5.
Oh, okay.
And it's like
that bugs you a lot. You don't like the
No.
Okay.
It takes more time and it's not realistic,
Oh, I didn't even think about the time difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You play in first person or third person? Do you
I play in first person a lot, but if I feel like having a ball and checking out my character, I'll go third. And especially for heavy guns, I picked up a really nice Gatling gun, and I've been going in third person to fire that because the dot on the screen is more accurate in third person for those kinds of weapons.
I've found, and especially in 76, Fallout 4 is really bad, but 76 is fucking terrible in third person with aiming with guns. I will almost always switch to either do VATS with guns or switch into first person because the aiming is just terrible in most cases.
Yeah, only with heavy guns do I ever have a good time in third person firing.
You can tell that these games are definitely developed around the first person view, and then third person just sort of tacked on as an afterthought. For those which I originally thought would be a small percentage of people who actually enjoy third person more. But according to our Facebook group today, someone put up a post. Does anyone actually play in third person? That's when, 10 of us immediately chimed in. Yes, 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 yes. And I would say that I play about 90% in third person. But when I go to pick stuff up, like if I'm searching stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and if I've killed all the bad guys, I'll do most of my combat in third person. But if I need to, say, like I'm over doing a plastic run over at Morgantown High School and picking up my pumpkins and my bowling pins and whatnot, I'll switch into first person view because the cursor is so much more accurate. And if I'm in third person, I'll have the dot right fucking floating over on top of it, and it won't register at all.
Yep.
So I go to first person to pick stuff up a lot in that case. So more updates here.
Okay. Reduce the weight of bobby pins.
Oh god, that makes 100.
Yes.
They reduced it. They reduced it 100-fold, didn't they?
Yeah, which
three
is
decimal places.
which is good. I love that one because it's a direct response to community complaints. They really are listening.
Well, it didn't make sense that it weighed. What was the comparison we were making? Like the bobby pin weighed 100 times a bullet, basically. And that makes zero sense. You know what? Most of the stuff they've nerfed with the weight anyway, like some of these armor pieces weigh like 2 or 3 pounds, and in Fallout 4, these would have been like 13-pound pieces. Like it's really kind of weird how they scaled back the weight of stuff. And I know that's because they put a weight limit on your stash amount. Is there any update on that? Stash amount going up or anything?
They have not mentioned a word of it.
Yeah. They're scared of that one, it seems, right?
Yeah.
Well, they don't want to give us that freedom to crash their servers with our giant hoarding levels.
Nope.
All right. Well, Ray sent us an update about the more in-depth look into these patch notes. So let's go ahead and say hi to Ray.
Hello, Fallout Feed. Ray here, reporting in on the January 10th patch to Fallout 76. So the PC patch was dropped today. The Xbox and PS4 will be Monday, I believe. But some previews for the upcoming changes. So, Andrew, you should love this one. The Power Armor Light is going to be brighter.
Woo-hoo!
So they didn't really say how much brighter. And I don't have any power armor, so I couldn't tell. Of course, the ubiquitous performance and stability improvements.
What does that
There
mean?
is
Jeez.
a balance change, so the glowing ones are going to have reduced XP. Evidently, they were giving you XP the same level as a large boss level.
That's how I got to level
and
50.
So used with the nukes to exploit XP. So they've changed that so they don't give you as much. Another big improvement, bobby pins will weigh less. So instead of weighing a 1/10 of a pound, they're going to weigh 100th of a pound. So now they won't be heavier than stim packs or purified water. The PC is getting a fix to the load screen lockup. Fortunately, I hadn't had any problem with that, but I'm sure for all the people that have it, it'll be a relief. They are doing some frame rate performance improvements during nuclear explosions.
Good.
They are, once again trying to fix the duplication glitch.
I thought they got that one.
So this problem I
Nope.
definitely had, and so I'll be looking forward to that being fixed. So when you fast travel back to your camp, it won't spawn you into the middle of the mountain or rocks or whatever it is that you happen to have your camp built on top of. So that'll be a nice nice improvement. So any armor over level 25 will require ballistic fabric. That'll make them a little tougher to repair, but their overall repair cost in components will be reduced and scaled to the level of the armor. Fixing some daily challenges that were not showing up every day, which kind of defeats the purpose of being in a daily challenge. They're also fixing some photo mode challenges. They didn't really say which ones. Probably doubling the number of photo challenges for being naked and drunk. So they are
That was New
lowering
Year's.
the robot respawn rate at White Springs.
Oh,
When they die, they'll be dead a little longer.
oh.
So it'll be a little harder to.
They just took
to
away
use
all the
them
XP exports
help
at
you
White
with
Springs.
with the higher level enemies there. There's a bunch of changes to a lot of the perks. Too many to list here, but one of the notable ones, Wasteland Whisperer, will no longer calm Scorched. And also, in relation to the Scorched, they are going to fix the graphics so that they won't have broken weapons that are actually not pointed at you, but pointed at themselves, but still shoot you.
Those are so funny.
So evidently there was an issue that's getting fixed where plasma rifles, flamers, guns with explosive rounds weren't doing any damage, which would certainly be problematic. So they're fixing that. This one we've seen a lot of. Evidently, they are fixing the power armor Slender Man. So you'll no longer get the stretchy, elongated bodies when you exit power armor.
End of an era.
See if that actually got fixed. So evidently, there was a fusion core glitch to where if you were in power armor and your fusion core was low, if you server hop, it would recharge your fusion core. So they're fixing that as well. They are fixing a problem with the supply drop requests. Evidently, the holotapes weren't being removed from inventory when you collected the loot from those. They're going to stop spamming you with the atomic shop when you respawn. That was one that I got on a fairly regular basis when I would respawn. It would say, "Hey, buy some stuff at the atomic shop store," while you wait to go collect your bag full of junk. So one of the things that they had talked about was people being able to become vendors in the game. And there wasn't anything in the release notes that I could find that talked anything about that. But they are increasing the trade cap for players, player-on-player trading, from 5,000 caps to 25,000 caps. So it may be
Oh my goodness!
in setting that system up. So those are the ones that I noted. There were plenty more. A lot of just general, fixing the game and making it run better. But we will see how these are impacting the game and how people play. But for now, this is Ray signing off. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ray, for your thoughts. Now let's dig into those a little bit deeper. What now that Ray went over those, Jen, what scares you? What makes you happy about any of these new updates?
Well, I'm excited I can carry more than 10 bobby pins at a time.
I'm excited you can find more than 10 at a time. I'm always hovering around like 30. I can in Fallout 4 I have like 200 at a character at level 50. You know what I mean? I'm level 50 character. I have like 15 bobby pins still.
I have a lot, but I didn't have lockpick. I didn't have more than one in lockpick for a very, very long time on my original character.
Yeah.
So I didn't end up using them a whole lot. I just kind of give up, and I don't have any carry weight to loot anyway. So I'm having to be smarter about my hoarding.
Tell me about your stash. What does it look like?
Oh my God. My stash is terrible. It's always terrible because I am the worst hoarder ever. And it's I'm constantly scrapping things I don't want to scrap. I had to scrap my broadsider, which made my heart
no.
But it was like 24 pounds or something crazy like that. So it was just it was before the stash limit increase. because I was moving my camp all the time and I was getting that duplication glitch that was happening, and everything would duplicate, and then I'd scrap it and it would push my stash up way above the limit. So I didn't have anywhere to put stuff. So they said they fixed it. What are they doing with the duplication glitch? Is it still
The
is it
one
still happening?
they're fixing is a weird one, and it was more for duplicating items. It involved a armor workbench and crafting like 1,000,000 wooden boards or something. I don't know, but it allowed people to duplicate high value weapons and serums and things that people want to duplicate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people just breaking the game.
So I thought that they were using the artillery cannon storage.
They did
unit.
fix that one. That one
Okay.
is fixed. You know, it's going to keep happening like this. There will be another new one. That it never ends.
Yeah. Well, like I was thinking as he was reading all these patch notes, I'm just thinking as they're closing these holes here, they're just opening new windows over there. You know what I mean? They're going to create new problems by solving these other problems.
Like a leaking boat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I have one big note that he didn't mention, or maybe I didn't hear.
What's
but
that?
it's for all my riflemen's out there. They're adding legendary hunting rifle to the loot pool.
What's that mean? Explain that.
You cannot get a legendary hunting rifle. It does not exist. And I love the hunting rifles, so now there will be all different kinds of hunting rifles. They're adding it to the loot pool, so you could get, a lot of people want their 2-shot hunting rifle or instigating. Oh, yeah. That's good for all the sneaky snipers and...
Yeah, I might actually use a hunting rifle if I got like the 2-shot or the explosive or something. Shoot so slowly that I never use it. But if I had a cool legendary effect, I might actually use one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do like that gun, so it's nice that they're doing that. It was dumbfounded me. I don't know why it wasn't available to begin with, but good to have it now.
So I didn't even realize. Are there other weapons that don't have legendary effects applied?
That was the one that stood out the most. I'm not sure if others don't.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh man, Power Armor Slender Man, say goodbye. That stinks. That's always funny.
It was hilarious.
What about nude? Like a lot of the times I'll pop into a server with someone and they're naked.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah, and going indoors, like everyone loads indoors and no one loads correctly. Different variations of either being naked or being slendered. I doubt it'll fix all of it.
Or having one piece of power armor on your shoulder.
That should fix it, what they mentioned, hopefully.
And they've just completely eliminated all the XP farming that you do over at White Springs by eliminating how quickly the robots respawn, because some people would just people would just kite the ghouls over there. And speaking of the ghouls, if they reduce that XP, what's the point? Where are you going to nuke now? What's going to be the hot spot if White Springs gets nerfed?
Fissure Site Prime's going to be number one.
Bog?
Yeah. It already is very popular, but I think it'll go up. I've heard talk of Uncanny Caverns being good if ghouls are spawning there. I've heard whispers.
So the reason the golf course is good is because there are ghouls there, which specifically creates glowing ones, which were giving just disproportionate high amounts of XP.
It's between 400 and 700 XP a piece.
Really?
There's got to be another location in the game where ghouls consistently spawn.
Yeah, Morgantown. I think they're changing glowing ones anywhere, so it doesn't matter where you nuke.
Yeah.
They'll probably give about, I think the charred feral ghouls give 169-ish, so it'll probably go down to that.
All right, Alex, that means that you and I this weekend we're power leveling our character before Monday.
We're gonna hit White Spring with 3 nukes
Yeah, let's do it.
all at once.
I mean, I can't launch the nuke. You'll have to launch the nuke, but I'll be there to watch the nuke launch and then run in and try to farm as much XP I can as much XP as I can this weekend before they patch that.
I am become death.
Do it. That's the last episode of this season. We'll be launching the nuke. I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna do it with any characters until we do it with these characters here. I think that's May, April, June. I don't even remember when that is. But it's a long time for now, so I'll just have to find other people's.
It's after Game of Thrones ends.
Did we decide that? Oh, Game of Thrones is coming back soon. That makes me excited. I need to go to my. I was just making my library list, and I was like, "Ooh, Game of Thrones." I'm gonna put that on my list because you gotta watch the whole series before it comes back.
Yeah.
Anyway, nuke zones. The we're talking about verdant seasons a lot in the Facebook group recently. Is it worth nuking a specific zone that is a verdant season and then throwing on your green thumbs to go harvest?
In theory, that should definitely be. Yeah, that should be the technique. Yeah.
Nice. I still don't know what that stuff is for, though.
Oh, it's for crafting. It's for a lot of higher level power armor mods and prime receiver weapons. And you get a lot of these plans from the Scorch Beast Queen. And then you need what you get from the flowers is called flux, raw flux. So you collect the raw flux from all the flowers, and then all the enemies in the nuke zone will have material on them: glowing mass, hardened mass, and high radiation fluids. You combine one of each of those 3 materials with 10 raw flux, and you create 1 stable flux with that. And the stable flux is what you use for crafting ammo, power armor mods, etc. You'll need it for your jetpacks if anyone's going to be crafting those soon.
Okay. Jetpacks, and what else? Like, what other cool power armor?
Calibrated shocks, that increases the carry weight. People love those because weight is such an issue.
But that must be for like XO1 or something, because I have calibrated shocks for the excavator,
which I need to hit you up for. That's incredible. That's good stuff. The T51 you need flux, T60 you need flux, XO1, and T45. Yeah, it's everything except the excavator and Raider then probably.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Let's see what else we got about the patch notes. White Spring, they've nerfed a ballistic fiber. They're making it so that what did he say? You need more fucking ballistic fiber in order to repair your armor? Jesus Christ. It's already the most rare, sought after thing in the game. Where do you get it? Where do you farm this stuff?
I don't know.
I'm listening intently because I'm so out of it. I have armor I can't fix. It's just sitting there in my box.
I gave up. I scrapped a lot of really good armor because it's just been bogging down my stash weight and I can't repair anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, when I killed the Vengeful Mothman, he had some ballistic fiber.
Oh.
You can track him down. So
how do you get him to go? How do you get the wise Mothman to be the Vengeful Mothman? How does that work?
You pray to RNG gods.
But is that a different one, or is it that one there at the?
It's a different one because the level is different. Yeah.
Okay. But is it in that area, or is it just a random spawn?
It can be anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's crazy that I've played 3 different characters. One of them passed level 50, level 35 with another, and then Mo and I have a character. He's probably level 15 or so. Played these 3 different characters, run all over the damn map. I still haven't run into the vengeful one, the main one. I finally, within the last episode or 2, got the nice guy.
Oh yay!
The lightning bugs over at the lighthouse. That's a fun little thing.
Well, yeah, Jen and I talked about how huggable he is.
He's adorable.
He's a cuddle
Soft
bug.
and fuzzy.
Yeah.
I can't ever believe he would be vengeful. Although I had a stalking Mothman kill me once because I thought he was going to be nice, and I got close to him, and it didn't end well. I died.
Is his attack similar to what the nice one does with the little poof of black smoke and what?
Yeah. It's
Mhm.
a poof of black smoke, and I died really fast. So he didn't have a
Shoots
whole
like
lot of
waves and like
like a scorched beast, right?
yeah,
Like
similar to that. And then it also has this like pulse wave thing that I found really cool. Very cool animation.
Hey, you were talking about some purple ghost robot.
The
crazy-
Flatwoods Monster.
What the hell is that?
Some kind of alien.
I'm excited to meet one.
Yeah, is that just a random encounter?
It looks alienish, and it has like a brain encapsulated in a purple bulb. Then it shoots lasers out of its hands.
Nice.
Yeah, that's another very random. They're the cryptids. That's what they call them. I think that covers the Grafton Monster, Snallygaster, Flatwoods Monster, and Mothman. Are there others?
It's a weird alien purple thing. Crazy.
Yeah.
And I've now harvested the dead carcass of, but have not seen a live version of the giant sloth yet.
Oh, the Mega Sloth?
Mega sloth, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw one in the mire, and I hid behind a bush just to watch it walk past. I didn't want to hurt him.
Are they always hostile? Like if
you get close, yeah.
They'll attack you no matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't seem to do much except like crop dust you with this weird gaseous thing off their back. They have like some mushroom dust they poof at you. They don't really melee or anything else, and they're really slow. So if you feel like toying around with one, they probably won't kill you too easily.
If you keep your distance and sort of fire from afar.
Exactly.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm excited to meet one in the game.
Not the albino one, because they're just hideous. It was all scorched.
I'll take anything at this point.
Yeah.
Josh, have you run into all of these? Are there any monsters eluding you?
Pretty much every monster is eluding me, or at least the big ones. Yeah, I haven't run into the Mothman. The Grafton monster I did see, but I was so low level and I was by myself, so I just took off.
Yeah.
I didn't even attempt to fight it, but I love listening to everybody in the podcast every week, because I hear all these things that I'm like, oh, I can't wait until I get there.
Well, they're just spoiling the game for you, Josh.
No, it's fine.
There's a Grafton monster that spawns regularly outside of the Poseidon power plant.
Mm-hmm.
In that there's like that huge crevice just west of there, and it usually spawns in there.
That was the one
I've seen it because
I
I like to get that that workshop right across the way. I believe it's the Charleston landfill, maybe it's called.
Yeah.
But there's two, I think, different junk spots to extract from there. So I like setting up those extractors there. There might even be a copper and an aluminum there. So it's a pretty cool spot to get. Oh, I think I was mentioning earlier all these different workshops. I really want to take a good survey of all the workshops, discover each and every one, find out where they all are, take a tally of all their resources, because I want to put my camp right next to them so I can do that harvesting at the, get that loop going at the beginning of each game. I've seen people who do the loop, and their loop includes frickin' taking over the power plants, like to start the game off. I was like, oh, geez. That takes a whole hour. You know what I mean?
Oh, they might skip the powering up step, I'm guessing.
I don't know. What do you mean? Like,
There's the event to power up and the option to claim the workshop. You don't need to power up the power plant. You can just claim it and move on if you want. Although powering it up is, I like doing that. I'm trying to get better at it. interior of that place is a bit of a maze. It's hard to remember where the doors are to get to the reactor room.
I always get turned around in all of the power plants.
Yeah,
it's
rough.
Yeah, Thunder Mountain and Monongahela.
At Thunder Mountain, I had a similar situation to Jen. I had to defend from 3 scorched beasts.
Oh, good
Oh my
lord!
God.
I think it's because there were a lot of people in the area. It spawned more.
Gee whiz!
So
Oh, it's
Did they at
brutal.
least help?
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
You know, I found if I put my camp too close to a workshop, they when I get a quest to defend, sometimes the mobs will attack my camp instead of the workshop.
Oh,
Do you find that? I mean, it happens all the time. So I have to I can't be too close.
Okay, that's interesting. So you, like I'm saying, like I was going to put it next to a workshop, or put my my camp next to a workshop I like. So you're saying that when I go claim that, the chances are that they're more likely to go tear down my actual camp than attack. So I'm going to be sitting there when it says defend your workshop against the first wave, 1 of 4 of Scorch, and I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs, waiting. Where
Yeah.
the hell are these guys? They're up the hill, really tearing my camp down. Where I'm just sitting.
Yeah.
Where
My
is this
husband's got his camp right by Lakeside Manor. And
Lakeside Manor.
yeah, that's
Is that a Skyrim reference?
No. Sounds like it, right? It's the one near Riverside, by the
that's near the big lake,
Oh,
isn't it?
yeah,
Lakeside-
the big dry lake.
Yeah.
Lakeside
The
Cabin.
big dry lake.
Yeah, the cabin.
Lakeside
Yeah,
Cabin.
the cabin. Lakeside Cabin, thank you. I was getting
Lakeside Manor is a Skyrim thing. That's a Hearthfire house.
Yeah. See, my Bethesda worlds are crossing. But yeah, we had a camp at the bottom of the cliff, and every single time there was a defend quest,
they spawned down there.
Yeah, they spawned down there, and they
Yeah.
started attacking the wall. And I thought it was just that one location, and it wasn't. It wasn't. I went too close to, I forget what that junkyard is, just southwest of Flatwoods, and it's on the same river. And I put my camp there, and I'm, it says defend the camp, 1 of 4 what are the little robot dudes called again? Liberators.
Liberators.
Yeah, and I'm like, where the hell are these guys? What the hell's going on? And I had to run outside of the quest, and it says exiting the quest, and I'm like, shut up. I'm gonna get there. And there they are they're attacking my wall. Just for fun.
So that means put one little piece of fence as far out in the green circle as possible, as close to the workshop as possible, so you can see them.
Yep.
I guess.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, well, guys, I think we should shift and get into our quests for the evening. We have Thirst Things first, Second Helpings, and the Final Departure to get into this evening. Josh did not get to Final Departure, so we'll have him help us discuss one of these first 2. How about we go ahead with Thirst Things first? Before we get into the quest, though, Josh, why don't you give us a brief reminder, sort of who your character is, if there is a background story, maybe just a highlight of your special, like what your strongest specials are, or maybe a perk card that you're enjoying this playthrough.
Sure, I can do that. My character's name is Brown, so I decided to call him Brown Bottle Flu. So he's a alcoholic. So any chance he has to have any bourbon or beer or anything like that, he's taking it down, because he's actually pretty even across the board, with a strength of 9. Well, actually, all perks are between 7 and 9. So, there's not a whole lot of.
Wow, that is very down there.
Yes.
That's crazy.
But my favorite perk card so far is the Pharma, because which I just learned how to appropriately use from Leon on the last episode, saying you have to search.
Yeah, you got to hit that Y button.
Yep. And so I've been doing that, and that's been helping me out get a lot more stim packs because I seem to go through them pretty regularly.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
There's the perk card that I was complaining about. It is the perk card that makes you use a stim pack if you're below 20%. I don't use that anymore because I feel like it burns through my stim packs way too quickly. And now I have must be a card. It must be a perk card, not a mutation, that uses a stim pack when I die, which is much better. Like that's the way it should be. The 20%.
Oh yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. God, I don't even remember what that's called. But yeah, that's much more efficient. So that one for finding Kims is very useful. I need to invest in that one at some point. I do like those. I have one for meat, the one for meat, and
the Butcher's Bounty.
Butcher's Bounty.
Yeah, I have that one too.
I was thinking there should be one in the intelligence column for robots. Is there one where you can scrap more components from robots? Because I think that they should have it for each category of every type of bad guy. Like you should be able to because I noticed that I can only do the Butcher's Bounty on animals. It won't let me do monsters. Like I can't go up to the Grafton monster and get more of whatever its component, the oil or whatever from the Grafton monster or other monsters. It's just like deer and dogs and mutant hounds and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they'll add another deck.
Yes.
And have like another tree of cards and like a big sort of DLC/update thing. That'd be cool.
Do you think they would just unleash it like that?
Maybe. It would have to be like a big release because that would take a lot of coding or game developing stuff.
Okay. No kidding. That seems like a giant headache.
Yeah.
But with Fallout 4, when they released Far Harbor, they totally tweaked a lot of the specials, and they added some perks and stuff like that to the chart. They changed how certain perks worked. I remember they added a few things, a couple of levels here and there. So Josh, sorry I interrupted. Tell me a little what is decked out and what sort of weapon attack method do you like to use? What's your armor look like? What sort of clothing outfit do you like to wear when you're running around?
Right now I'm wearing the pastor's vestments, just because I picked it up and was like, why not? Figure, Jewish guy running around in pastor's vestments makes sense. And then just with the armor, I've got the basic leather armor, a couple pieces that are pocketed, a couple that are light.
Nice.
And then I'm mainly using a combat knife and a pump shotgun. I just recently got a single action revolver that I think shoots 44s or 45s, one of the two, that I've been just starting to use, and I like it.
Yeah, those are really nice. I like those pistols. I need to do a pistol build at some point because those seem like those can get pretty powerful, even before I invested any points into the gunslinger or anything.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah. Sweet, sounds good. So let's go ahead and talk about thirst things first. How did your character go about going through this? Where were we? The last thing we did was what do we do? We went to the church and we went back across the street to sign up at a terminal.
Yes.
Now we are trying to be volunteers for the responders, but we have to do sort of like some tryout missions.
Yes, we've got to find some different. We need to locate a person, Kesha McDermott, I think.
Now, when we're told to go find Kesha McDermott, we are assuming that this person is going to be alive and well and able to help us and give us advice, right?
Yes. But she's not.
When will we learn?
Yes, good call. Yeah, so you find her down by the water and end up checking her body, and I think you get some water testing kits, and then also her story on a holotape. And she wants you to finish, I guess, her work of testing the different waters and seeing what is contaminated, and they teach you how to boil water, which is very important in this game.
Yeah, no kidding.
Makes sense.
Did anybody listen to her holotape? Listen to her whole backstory and everything?
I did, but I don't remember it.
Jan, did you listen to that holotape?
I did, but I don't remember it either. I think I listened intently the first time I listened to it. But yeah, I remember her saying something about the water being really, really toxic.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Marie, I'm not even sure if this you find more information about this NPC, this dead NPC, a little bit later on as well at our next location about Kesha. So I'm not sure if I learned a lot of this info from the next terminal or from this holotape. But I've incorporated this character a little bit into my character, Mr. Marie. He was a substitute teacher for someone, the teacher was named Miss Marie, was sick that day. So Mr. Marie, aka my character, got sucked into Vault 76 for this project. Now, Kesha was a high school teacher, I believe a science teacher, down at Watoga when the bombs dropped. She didn't make it into Vault 76. She was a survivalist and rescued a couple of kids whose parents died during the after the bombs had fallen, during all of the chaos that was in West Virginia. After the world fell apart, she helped these kids. So they went into sort of like survivalist mode. They made their way from Watoga all the way up to the responders, and then they sought refuge there. And a lot of people were dying because they had a lot of one of the great things about being with the responders up in Flatwoods was that they were actually sort of a community. People were getting hit by raiders a lot in Watoga, so they couldn't stay there. They had to go all the way up to Flatwoods to seek refuge, and the responders seemed to be people who were helping out a lot. But another character that we run into later in our next quest, the preacher guy Delbert, he actually in his post he has a little bit of a sort of story of when the responders first showed up into Flatwoods, and about him joining up, but it's really kind of a cool story of Kesha saving some kids, taking them up to. I mean, of course, it was a good story, but in the end, everyone's dead. So, I mean, hang out, if you will. But I just thought it was really fun. So, and in my story, I'm kind of like, my character's like, holy shit, I'm a substitute teacher. That was that lady across the hall. She taught science when I was substituting for art teacher with those fucking little kids that one day. That's Kesha I know this woman. I used to substitute in Watoga every once in a while when they needed me way down south. Gosh, that's Kesha. It's the first time he's actually run into anyone that he's known from before the war. He used to substitute across the hall from Kesha. And it really sort of floored him. He took a moment by the river, floated some petals down the stream in memory of Kesha, even though he didn't know her well. But still, it was the first person that he'd sort of known before the war. So we found the body at the nearby river, Josh.
Yes.
We found a water testing kit, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to take this water testing kit. There's a couple of different places that Kesha wanted to test the water. She wanted to actually test the water because everyone kept dying. I think actually the high school student she saved as well. I'm not even sure if we mentioned that or not, but a lot of the people and the responders were dying. So she found the source of a lot of people getting sick was this the water, the toxic water, or the dirty water. It's not really toxic. So you mentioned like you need to test a couple different sources. Do you remember what those sources were?
It was the river that she was in, or canal, or whatever it was, and then there were some water pumps.
Oh yeah. There's water pumps up by a little closer to the camp or whatever.
Yeah, closer to that.
So you just dip right there in the river, right next to the body, and you test that water, and you're like, oh, okay, a corpse is right here in this water. Of course, it's a little bit dirty.
Yeah, you would think they would want to stay away from that one.
So you test the water, the dirty corpse water, and then you test the water up by the water pumps, and turns out everything is dirty and contaminated. But if you look into a terminal, it actually is getting better over time from when the data has been collected. Did you notice anything awesome about these water purifiers or these water collector? It's like they had like a GPS on them. Like when you took the sample back to the terminal to get it analyzed, like it knew exactly where it was taken. And it analyzes it pretty instantly, and it tells you what's in it and everything. And if you looked at the terminal, it was like extremely toxic, horribly deadly, slightly less deadly, only a little bit deadly, almost drinkable. And it's like the water was getting better and better and better until Kesha died. And then we have the water sampler, the water testing kits. So we take them over and get those analyzed. So everything is dirty there. And then we go to, gosh, is it a holotape that we hear her voice in? But she basically gives us instructions how to boil water.
Yes.
Now, this is presented to us. No, it's in a holotape because it's presented to us in the scenario that there is someone as a trainee there who's signing up to be responders, and she's going through the process of getting in, but she's learning how to process water so that it is drinkable. And in the process, it is described to us the mechanics of actually how to harvest water, which is, go to the river and collect it, or go to a water pump and collect it there. But you always have to boil it, she says, before drinking it, which the person being tested is so intelligent. It's just crazy how great this holotape is. So you learn how to boil water, basically. She compares it to making tea without the tea. It's kind of funny. But then she also mentions tea later on about mixing ingredients in and everything. So you basically learn how to cook and make tea, boil water and stuff right here. I think that's good on first things first. Jen, did you have anything happen to you during that part of the mission?
Nothing really eventful. I went to the town and I camped really, really close by because I figured it was night. So I set up camp, checked out the church, and then went back to bed, and then started the first things first. Fertile soil kicked off while I was there. So I ended up doing that between first things first and second help things.
You said you camped out. Does that mean you just went over and slept somewhere else, or are you moving your camp around that?
Yeah, I moved my camp close to Flatwoods, almost behind that motel. So I could have access to the stream because it's a really good source of bloodleaf and snaptail. So I can.
I heard someone talking about that the other day. Why is that highly sought after? What is that for?
So bloodleaf and soot flower is the healing salve, and when you combine it with boiled water, the sootflower, bloodleaf, snaptail, and firecap make disease cure. So
Shit, that's a good one to know.
Yeah. So every time, the firecap I find is harder to locate, but there are 6 or 7 caps in inside the agricultural building, the Vault Tech building, where fertile soil ends. So it's in the basement, in the kind of flooded area where all the ghouls are hanging out. So every time I do fertile soil, I make a run for it down there and try to get some fire cap. So so collecting things along the river, I thought would be a nice way to be introduced to learning how to purify water.
No, that's great. Yeah. Alex, you were mentioning something about, it wasn't cure disease, it was
the antibiotics.
Yeah, the antibiotics. Tell me about what you discovered about those today. What were you looking into?
I was looking for a Fury recipe for a daily challenge, and while I was looking for that, I saw the recipe available for antibiotics. I was like, cool. I wonder if this is any easier to craft than the disease cure, because I can craft disease cure, and I have a method for doing it, but I'm not too fond of it. So I buy the recipe for antibiotics, and I take a look at what you need, and you need disease cure.
Oh.
Among other things, like it's a huge list of stuff, like blood pack and stem pack. I don't remember what was on the list. You had to throw a bunch of stuff on there to make it. And the only benefit that makes it any better than a stim pack is that it gives you a little bit of disease resistance for a short time. So it's like, well, I'm not making this.
Yeah. That's crazy. Antibiotics are... It seems like way too much of an investment for way less than return. You just stick with the cure disease or disease cure, right?
Snaptail Reed's one of those ingredients.
Nice. Go to the river. I just started collecting those the other day. What was the other one you said? Fire caps or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're the red mushrooms.
Those are a little harder to find.
Right.
Yeah, I did find a good stash of them right by the Slocum's Joe near Flatwoods. They're on a log.
I was expecting to find some Smurfs running around those.
Gnomes.
Oh, I love the gnomes.
Yeah, the gnomes. Jen, you've been really into the gnomes.
I have. Well, in 3, my house looks like my little player home always looks like gnomes have invaded, and I'm heavily outnumbered. So I'm a big fan of the gnomes, and I love the way the designers have, like they do with the teddy bears, kind of create these little visual stories with the gnomes, but the gnomes are always up to mischief, and they're doing hilarious things, like taking a ride in a baby carriage with bottles of booze and little goggles on. I found one in, there was a garden in the cranberry bog, and the gnomes are set up in these little vignettes of terrible things, like a pink flamingo's gone down, and there's 2 gnomes standing there with guns looking down at him.
Pretty great.
They're really good, and that's where I took the photo where I was calling for all PS4 players to come play with me. It was a bunch of gnomes lined up along the wall. So
let's do a collective shout out. Try to get as many people involved with that as much as you can. To tell us about your PS4 meetup stuff.
Well, I started a little group chat to try and round up some PS4 players. The early quests here, I mean, we can kind of do them ourselves. You don't really need a lot of help for second helpings to, or final departure. But I think when things get a little wilder and they start getting bigger, it would be fun, I think, to team up together. Time is always an issue, trying to get everybody on at the same time. So I've been, I did once already, just let everyone know when I'm going on. And if anyone's around, they can pop on if they want to and join me.
I'm really excited that you and Rebecca can play together. That's fun.
Yeah. We started playing together with Mark in the beta, so that was a lot of fun to do. But they're on the other side of the planet. So
Yeah.
so finding times where we're both on at the same time is a challenge. So
I'm excited
Yeah.
that Mark got the game too. That's really great. I'm happy that he can join us.
yeah. I wanted to make sure we had a chat so that nobody felt pressure. I know, I mean, I tend to be a really kind of a quiet single player fan. So so I've never really been inclined to play multiplayer games. And and this is kind of a stretch for me to do it. But I've been teaming up with strangers, so I thought if I team up with strangers that aren't so strange to me, it might be fun. But you know, I don't want to like invade somebody's quiet time if they're, you know, sitting there and picking soot flower all afternoon. I don't want to,
Yeah.
you know, crash their party. So so this gives you an opportunity to say, hey, I'm on if you want to join. If not, that's cool.
Have you
So,
have you
pressure
ac-
free.
have you actually gone out like soot flower hunting, like flower basket in hand and tra-la-la-la-lying through the forest?
Absolutely. After a long day, talking to people all day long, I just go out and start collecting the snap read and craft up some stuff. I take a couple workshops that have lead. Start.
Are you ammunition farming, or what are you doing there with lead?
I'm preparing because my Roundtable character it's an automatic weapons build. Looks like I just happened to get a lot of automatic weapon cards, so I'm stockpiling lead and stockpiling ammo because when I finally find a decent automatic weapon, I'm going to tear through ammo like crazy. I know it. So, because my aim sucks. So,
It is just absolutely crazy how much ammo that I use. Alex was super nice and gave me a huge influx of 45 ammo when I got my brand new radium rifle that I found. And I was super excited. And I went out and he gave me over like, I don't know, 1,000 rounds or something insane like that. And he was just like, yeah, I have way too much here. Take this. It's just getting rid of weight to me. So I took him graciously. I was like very, very thankful because I was like, oh man, this is great. I don't have nearly as many 45 because I wasn't expecting to actually use that style of rifle. But it was my absolute favorite in Fallout 4. The kiloton rifle is just my jam.
nice.
I love
Yeah.
the kiloton rifle. So this is sort of similar, and it's very fun to play with the radium rifle. But I took that 1,000 rounds and I played for like one afternoon play session, and they were kind of gone. You know, like it's just like if you go up against a Grafton monster and a couple of fog crawlers and a couple of scorch beasts, you use 1,000 rounds like that. And they have removed the mechanic of where I can collect all the 38 rounds, which I'm not using at all, when I could cash those in for 45 rounds, which I used to do in Fallout 4. I used to use the ammunition as my trade-in currency for other rounds that I did use, but they've removed your ability to do that in this game, so therefore I don't have like a constant supply of 45. So therefore I need to play in Jen's game of going to farm lead. Where do you go to get your lead workshop?
Down by the cabin, by that dry lake.
Okay, that one has lead.
That's got lead. I think there is one at the steel mill. Is it Grafton up there? Somewhere further north. I am terrible with these names of places.
Probably has lead.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Steel mill, yeah.
Yeah, it's full of super mutants and a lot of work.
A lot.
But yeah, tons and tons of work. But they've got lots of lead. So I've been doing that. You know what I really want in 76 is I want an ammo crafting bench, because we had them in New Vegas. To be able to take ammo that you're not using, break it down into components, and build ammo would be fantastic. Because I've got all this stuff I don't use.
Yeah, if I could take that 38 that I'm not using and break it down and build it into 45. I mean, I know that just give me a 1 to 10 value. I don't care. But just let me do something with it instead of just dropping it. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
totally
Or I
agree.
mean, break it down to components. Then you can bulk some of it. My beta character is a melee and explosives build, so I don't use a whole lot of ammo. So I've been gifting it to everybody, running up, chasing people, dropping little baggies at them, and I run away. You know.
Yeah, I've definitely taken plans to as I see people loading into the game, coming out of the vault for the first time. I've fast traveled back to the vault to dump plans in a bag for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've started standing on top of stash boxes and train stations, and then I drop the little baggie, and it sits on top of the stash box, so it's the first place they'll look.
Yeah, that's a great that is a great place to do it. Very good tip there. If you got stuff to dump, put them on a stash box in the train station. Maybe the vault isn't the best place because people stumbling out for the first time might not know about the bags yet.
But they've got all that storage space, so they're going to go, oh, hell yeah, let's take all this stuff. They won't go, man, someone's trying to toss their plans at me.
Well, I had this crazy shit happened with my power armor. Alex might have been playing with this too. We're all playing. We're sort of at the end of the play session. Went back to Pat's house. I was using his workbenches and stuff. I hopped out of my excavator power armor and was just using the benches and everything. And I have just naturally assumed it would get recalled back into my inventory. Well, I guess that I had hopped out of it, collected it into my inventory, and then put it back out again for some reason. But it wasn't in on the workbench, the power armor workstation. It was just out in Pat's living room quarters or whatever. And I don't know what I was doing. Was I looking at it? Was I showing it to something? Was I checking it? I have no idea. But anyway, I didn't collect it back. You can walk up to it and press Y to collect it. But I did not do that. And then our play session ended. And everything disappeared, including my power armor. But I didn't notice because I don't use a ton of power armor. I am a lot more frequently now that I have this excavator power armor because it's kind of fun running around. But next time Pat loaded in, he noticed that he had an extra set of power armor in his workbench that he's like, this isn't mine. What happened? And then we were just like talking about, like everyone was talking about it in the group, the meetup group that we have for Xbox. He's like, does anyone lose power armor? Like,
it's like leaving a sweater at a party.
Yeah. Like, wait a second, let me check. Oh, dude, Pat has my power armor. So I had to go back and get it next time with it. We were on the same server together. It was really weird because the way it had to happen is that I had to drop it from my inventory. Otherwise, it would have gotten collected back into because it does it automatically. You know what I mean? It always recovers your power armor, and like power armor coming back in 60 seconds, and then it gives you even like a 10-second warning. So it tells you when your power armor, like anytime you get out of it, and you just get out of it, it'll be pulled back into your inventory. So that means I had to have actually gone into my inventory and dropped it instead of loaded it onto the power armor station or something. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
weren't you guys saying that you were dropping the chassis to get them out?
Yeah, that's how I was doing it. But now you pointed out that you can actually deploy them if you go down and activate. Instead of dropping it out of your inventory and getting into it, you can actually hit A and that'll put it down the floor.
That's the way.
Yeah, that'll if you do it that way, it'll also help you not lose it like a. Anyway, I've tried to leave power armor at the vault door, and it's been recalled. So I don't know how that mechanic works. It seems like magic to me.
It is magic.
I've tried
magic.
I've tried to leave power armor for people like just wherever. It's like, here, take this. Get it out of my inventory, please. And then magically it reappears in your inventory. Like, no, stay away.
Yeah, I've only run around in the power armor chassis because I'm not high enough level to actually wear any of the pieces that I found so far. So
you got to be like level 25 before they even let you pretend to look at power armor in this game.
Yeah.
Crazy. And then it cost an arm and a leg to frickin' repair it, and you don't get the iBot to go look for it for you. Crazy. All right, let's go learn how to cook some meals here. So second helpings, we are told that we need to find Delbert Winters in Flatwoods somewhere, so you can sort of search Flatwoods if you want to. He's in sort of, it's a house, but it looks like sort of a trailer. There's a little farm out back. There's a Brahmin wandering around in the field. But if you want a quest marker to point you in the right direction, just head on over to the responders personnel terminal where you signed up to be a volunteer, and you can look up the personnel section and click on Delbert's name, and that'll put a quest marker on his house where you can run on over there. And there's a couple of recipes, maybe just one recipe in the bedroom if you take a right as you enter the door. And you head back to the back of the house, you see, oh no, Delbert, gosh, he's not alive, you guys. Shocker.
I was shocked.
Yeah. So you find Delbert, and you actually dive into his terminal and find out that this guy really likes beef.
Yes.
Nothing like a good ribeye.
He is a big fan of beef. He was a preacher, I believe. He has vestments on. I wish that you could, like in Fallout 4, you could swipe someone's, the clothes they were wearing. I wish you could do that
And
here.
leave a trail of naked bodies in your wake.
I always did in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well, I don't know why they made it so, but he has got those pastor vestments that are really cool looking. But he was a man of the cloth, lived in Flatwoods before even the responders showed up, but decided that he thought that their plight was a valiant one, and therefore got behind them and joined the responders as sort of the cook and the motivational speaker and the sort of the emotional support person. That's right. Well, we find out how to cook from Delbert. Get a couple of recipes. And if you look at the top 10 recipes voted, it's
Ribeye steak.
Ribeye steak. The top 10 are all ribeye steak, top to bottom. And I believe even if you look at the schedule menu, I think it's also all ribeye steak, is it not?
Yeah.
So that's great. We meet Delbert, his dead body. Then we cook a ribeye steak. There's a couple of cook fires down around the church, sort of, if you want to go find some place to cook up your ribeye steak. I couldn't believe I couldn't cook something right there in Delbert's house, the way he was talking about what a chef he is and everything. If you check into the self-serve kiosk after you cook a ribeye steak, and you contact the supporters across the street at the database, then that will make you a full-time volunteer after you learn how to cook everything. I didn't really talk about what the rewards were for the first quest for Thirst Things First. You get a chem bench, you get a shadowed leather chest, which is leveled like crazy because mine wasn't leather; it was a combat something or other because my character is over level 50. So it's not just a leather chest; you get a shadowed. It was shadowed, whatever I got. So it's just a shadowed leveled chest of some sort, and boiled water. Some 38 rounds, the stim pack diluted. Second helpings here. You get the plan was the Tinker Bench. So it seems like these early quests in the plans, they're giving you most of your basic workbenches that you're going to want to get as you build your camp. So you get the Tinker Bench, some wood scrap, the hunting rifle plan. There you go, Alex. You get your hunting rifle and some 38 ammo.
Nice.
So that's second helpings. Jen, I don't think we actually got a reminder of your character at all. Would you like to give us a brief reminder of your character before we go into before you lead us into final departure?
Okay, I'm my character's name is Norman. She has been assigned to the camp zone of the Mire Brotherhood faction, mutation empath, which I thankfully have not gotten yet. And the character is high intelligence and high luck, with lots of really cool perk cards like Gorilla and Nerd Rage. So I've been getting Junk Shield. That's the luck perk that I've been assigned. So her backstory is that Norman is the kid of some vault dwellers. She was born in the vault and had never been outside before. So this is all new and exciting, but she grew up pretty tough because she had a name like Norman, so she had to defend herself. I'm sure there was a faction of the tunnel snakes in the vault. So she's at about level 11 right now. Actually, okay, so I started too soon, and I'd done Final Departure before the list came out. So I started Norman, so I could do those quests and remember them. And at the end of Final Departure today, I returned to original Norman. So so now we're back to original Norman. So luck 10, intelligence 10, agility 9, perception 8. Yeah, so those are her strengths.
Wonderful. So after we figure out how to cook and drink and prepare water and get food prepared in an appropriate manner, the terminal there at the church, I believe, mentions something about going off to find, who is it? I don't remember. We need to go off to the airport for some reason.
It was the headquarters of the responders at the Morgantown Airport.
All right, so we're at an outpost here in Flatwood, so we need to head up to the Morgantown Airport to see if anybody's alive over there. See if the overseer's there, or are we still following the overseer?
Yeah, there's an overseer's log there also. And
what's going on? I think they're side quests. I don't know if they're main quests or not. What's going on with the overseer's quests? Are those in the miscellaneous or in the side quest or something? Should we be doing those simultaneously with each of these main quest stops we're doing?
I've been doing them simultaneously to try and level up a little bit, because if we only do main quest with our characters, we're gonna end up in some pretty scary places at too low a level. So I've been doing those because they tend to be in the same place. So the overseer's chest is usually in the same room, if not just the same building as the quest locations or the quest markers.
It just seems that there's a very intertwined overseer's quest line and then the main quest line that they could be done pretty simultaneously.
Yep.
But even though the overseer is the person leading you through the main quest line anyway. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, well, she's the introduction.
All right. Norman, take us to the airport.
Oh my goodness. So we get to the airport, and there are a bunch of responders signs around and a ton of scorched all around the place. You've got to, our quest says that we need to get inside the building. So going inside the building, it's an airport, and there's a security gate. There's also a vendor bot who's inside and still functioning.
I was surprised by that.
And it's a really creepy place to be in because it's really dark. So, and the scorched they stand still when they're not activated, and I can't tell whether the petrified scorched bodies. I can't tell the difference between them. So
Yeah.
I'll often kind of, hit VATS a little bit to see if I can get through the space. So, yeah. And Norman, because she is so young and new, has, I think it's a hunting rifle. Yeah, it's a hunting rifle. And she tricked out a pump action shotgun. But the reach isn't all that far. So tapping VATS and trying to get the scorch before they get to her is a challenge in the dark. But on the second floor, once you go up the escalator, you'll find she found a chest with the overseer's holotape, where she I can't remember exactly what she says, but she explains that this is the headquarters of the responders. And there are several bodies around, responder bodies, with holotapes with incredibly sad stories on them, if you listen to them.
Did you find the lady in the closet?
Oh, God, yeah. There was a scorched locked in there with her.
Really?
When Norman went in today, we unlocked it with the terminal, and the door popped open, and then we were shot.
I've done that a couple times. I've never seen a scorched in there. That's awesome. That poor woman.
And then I listened to the holotape to see, but she said she was alone in there.
Yeah.
And there was a scorched in there, so it was pretty scary.
This poor woman was one of the responders and watched all of her friends get turned into scorched, basically, by a scorched beast, I believe is what happened. There's scorched beasts around, and they were fighting, and all of her friends were getting turned into, or maybe it was the overseer who described them as Vesuvius in reverse, or was it this woman?
Yeah,
Vesuvius in reverse.
I think it was the overseers.
That was eloquent. I really liked that. I was like, oh, that's really awesome. But so this woman on her holotape was describing seeing all of her friends get turned into these basically statues or these horrible monsters, and so she, to seek refuge, ran into this building and locked herself. She just ran into the closet and closed the door, and it locked her in. There wasn't any way to unlock it from the inside. So she was alone in there for days and days, and recorded the holotape, and you could hear it in her voice over time. She was slowly going insane and starving to death, and died of thirst, most likely a few days later. But
that's awful.
Yeah, it's a really terrible holotape, and you sit there and listen to it. It's like the full. This game loves to draw out their holotape, so it's like the full 5 story, and you sit there and listen to the whole thing. I actually posted it on when I did Final Departure today on my Twitch stream. I just sat there and listened to the whole thing, and I made sure that I had the subtitles on, and that I backed out of the Pip-Boy. So if you play the holotape in the Pip-Boy, like Sarah was mentioning in a previous episode, the subtitles won't play if you're in the Pip-Boy, so you have to play the holotape and then back out of your Pip-Boy so that it's just back on the screen, and then your subtitles will play. So, and they're white, so I always have to look at something dark so I can read the subtitles as they're playing, because you guys also have this problem. I can't get the Pip-Boys, the holotapes, loud enough. I just can't hear them. I turn down the background music, I turn down absolutely everything. Lighter controls the Pip-Boy level. It's not music. It's not sound effects. It's not voice. Is it? What? How do I make my freaking holotapes so that I can hear them without having to go into a padded room, a quiet room?
I don't know.
You guys have that problem?
Same problem. Yeah.
Can you hear your Pip-Boy?
I use subtitles.
Yeah, I have to have my subtitles on because I just can't hear the things. And something always attacks me when I'm trying to listen.
Yeah, that too.
When there's multiple holotapes in the room and you go to take one and it automatically plays, that makes me crazy because it'll cut off the other holotape and you got to go through the whole damn thing over again.
Oh, that's
And
so
listen
annoying.
to the sadness all
And
over again.
there should be a skip forward 10-second button
Yeah.
on your holotape. You know what I mean? You have the Pip-Boy. You're loading holotapes in there. You would assume that you have a play, a fast forward, a stop button. I think you would assume that you could skip forward a few seconds or something.
So
That's
what
just
was
crazy.
interesting about the terminal, was the door unlocked when you got there to get to that woman in the closet?
No, I had to hack the terminal.
I read the terminal entries on that terminal, and
Yeah.
they talk about it being get your stuff out now because it's going to be closed. So they talk about it being completely locked, and there's also a warning to them about holotapes, not to take all the holotapes because people are signing them out so much. And we know that you want to get stuff off your chest, but these holotapes aren't for for personal use. They're running out.
All right. So what was happening with
that was really
holotapes? People were taking the holotapes from the stash to do what?
to
Vent?
share their personal stories and vent and stuff. People were taking the holotapes and they were running out. I just thought that was really funny because everybody's got a holotape on them.
Okay, so I only found the woman in the closet. Were there other horribly sad stories?
There was a man on the pool table. It's a table. I think it's a pool table. There was a table. There was another guy. He also had some horrible stories. And in the terminal, so the final terminal, we get to learn about the scorched and the disease of the scorched, and then introduced to the Brotherhood. I was pretty interested to see that the Brotherhood aren't enemies, but they're certainly not friends either. I think is the way the entry ends, because they've been taking stuff. They think that dealing with the scorched beast is the biggest problem. So everybody needs to cough up their goods to help out.
Yeah, they're sort of requisitioning stuff that they'll come in and push the responders around sort of and take their food and water and ammunition and stuff like that, where the responders are starting to want to take a stand against the Brotherhood. I've kind of got that feeling from the terminal entry of wanting to sort of say, okay, enough is enough, Brotherhood of Steel. And that's maybe one of the reasons the responders actually formed in Woods, where they were coming to help sort of form a society there that wouldn't have to get pushed around and have their stuff taken from the Brotherhood.
Right.
Anymore.
There's also an entry about one of their medics leaving to join the Brotherhood.
Yeah, I saw that too. They were devastated because they were already shorthanded as a medic staff, and one of them decided to defer and go over to the Brotherhood. That's sort of devastating to the responders.
Yep.
Now other medics, they were already shorthanded. Now other medics had to work around the clock literally or something. It's crazy. Yeah, and what else are we doing here on Final Departure? Other stories. The guy on the pool table. Did you mention his story?
I don't remember his story. I didn't have time to sit and listen to his holotape today, but I did before.
Really
super sad.
Yeah. It really is an investment of time to listen to these people's stories. Then I was sort of thinking about that today. Do you think that you spent the same amount of time talking to NPCs in Fallout 4, but we just noticed the time difference because we're just sitting and listening to it instead of actually interacting? Or are these actually longer?
I think, well, they're like diary entries, right?
Yeah, that's sort of awkward too.
Yeah, and I think when you've got an NPC that's giving you information as a quest is being progressed, it's it might be the same airtime that they have, but passively listening rather than actively engaging can feel a lot longer. but I'm sure these are longer.
Yeah,
They got to tell a whole
they have-
story.
some of these are interminable.
Yeah, I do love the holotapes though. I love the holotapes and the terminals, and I do I love reading all the little bits. So I just didn't have time to do everybody's today.
I think
But
I
yeah, it's
found
super sad.
I think I found my second holotape game.
Oh, did you?
How many?
Where?
Oh, where?
I don't remember exactly. Because you start out with this one, not tappers. The
Naked
who
Tapper.
slides the beer down down the bar to you. I don't even remember what it's called, but yeah, I think I found a second one the other day. I'm always terrible about that. I remember stuff.
Oh, I'm cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
I found it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's your connection or mine. Mine's been shitty lately.
Oh, sorry. Am I okay now?
Yeah.
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 Okay. So and continue on here with final the whole point of this Sears log, and we listen to her holotape, and we
Ooh.
Oh. Andrew's gone robot on us.
You guys hearing that too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Hey guys, I'm gonna hop off real quick and I'll be right back. Go ahead for the people to YouTube. Have a little conversation.
I tried to open the YouTube chat earlier and it made me hang up on the stream because I'm like multitasking on one device here.
Oh, I have all my screens open.
Ah.
But I cut it. I turned it off because I wasn't sure I could hear, or I thought I was the problem. So from there, we go, we're still in the airport, and we've got to learn about the inoculation project. So that goes to, oh, Andrew's back. Hello.
Is that any better?
Hmm.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Oh no! Sorry, I'll be right back.
So the inoculation project goes into the quarantine area, and it's like they've built a quarantine area for all of the scorched people to live in, and that's kind of a creepy area. What's the event that kicks off in there? Is it collision
course at the airport?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the collision course. You get some
Yeah.
waves of scorch coming in.
Right. So I went in there today, and the first two scorched, I went in to check the terminal that I was supposed to check, and then the scorched started coming out of everywhere. The first wave of scorched came, and I killed two of them, but the quest markers wouldn't disappear. So I figured that it wouldn't end. So I ran upstairs and then and checked out the terminal, and then quickly left the area because I just didn't want to have to deal with a busted bunch of quest markers. But at the top, upstairs in one of those, are they Quonsets? That's what those buildings are called?
Sounds nice.
It's I think it might be I don't know if it's another Canadian thing. Yeah. But it's like one of those half circle buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go up the stairs and find the terminal up there, and then that's where final departure ends, and then announce of prevention begins, and we learn that someone's been working on inoculation for the scorched disease. And there is an ominous scorch beast flying around, not aggro, but flying around the area while you're in there. It was really creepy to hear its wings.
The passive one.
Yeah. So big, so scary.
Scorched disease.
that it is spread by the beasts, they think, and they don't know what's really causing it or what the cure is. So once people are scorched, they're scorched, but they're not quite like ghouls. They can still communicate. They say creepy things like "not us" and stuff, and they still have the mental capacity and physical capacity to use weapons, which is really, really scary.
The overseer points out that now we need to requisition silos, the missile silos, so that we can, Vault-Tec needs control of them so that, other people don't have control of them. But now we might actually have to, we were going to get a hold of them so that no one could use them, but now we need to consider maybe even getting control of the silos because we need to do some beasts. We're going to nuke the place we live to get rid of these scorch beasts. I was like, oh, geez. All right. That's what we're doing. That's what we're going to get good at these silos because we have to wipe out the scorch beast. Now, hopefully, the relation that you mentioned might go through before we have to nuke our...
Uh-oh, it cut out again. Maybe. And maybe the game will end right there. But we learn also about the fire breathers, and that there's fire breathers recruiting happening in the terminal. So that's pretty
nice.
exciting as well. But
not to spoil the whole story for everyone, but we know since that we have survived nuclear attacks, there are blast zones that we can go into, and then we know that our efforts send things that exist after that our effort, no matter where we drop this bomb, are going to be fruitless, right? Because other people have dropped bombs or stories where we are, because they have access to all that stuff. They're into Clave or whatever they need to. We are a month or two away from even men Clave. So those
cut out again.
Have already gone through sorry. Those people have request. Go ahead.
Is it going to sound like this when you go in and edit it, or do you record like locally as well?
No, I record locally.
Oh, good. So
the live broadcast will, or no, the podcast will not sound like.
Oh, good.
Sorry, I'm trying.
I just wanted to check with you because I didn't want you to go too long with unusable audio.
Yeah, you're getting a little bit choppy.
It's on my end. So sorry.
Okay.
So the rewards for finishing on, you get the patrolman sunglasses, you get some 10mm, some rounds, some stacks. I didn't even plan anything there, so that's too bad.
In the Overseer's stash, you get Vault Boy plans for Vault Boy, a Vault Boy figurine, and Vault-Tec University stuff. Like there's some decorative plans I think you get in the Overseer's stash that I noticed today that I didn't notice before. Pardon me. Yeah. Statues and I can't remember what else it was.
I remember there's cardboard cutout statues. There's even like a concrete statue with he's got the hat with the little tassel thing.
Oh yeah, like
I love that statue.
Intelligence bobblehead.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think that's out in front of the Vault-Tec U or something, right?
Yeah. You get Vault-Tec U stuff, but those are pretty standard though. Those aren't random. I
double check that I grabbed that stuff. I'm pretty sure that I have all that stuff already, but need to double check and make sure I get that.
Yeah. So yeah, we learn about the inoculation project. We learn that that the Brotherhood exists and that they're being bullies. We also learn that the fire breathers are a thing, and only the toughest responders can become fire breathers. And that people are starting to go missing. I'm just kind of looking at the. Yeah, people are going missing, and they're looking for them. Rachel Price goes missing.
Oh gosh, that's where we'll pick up next time with our story for the Fallout feed. What is that next quest called?
It is called An Ounce of Prevention.
An Ounce of Prevention. Yeah, so 2 weeks from now, we will go into An Ounce of Prevention, into the fire, and the missing. Over at the Belching Betty.
Oh man,
one of my favorite.
I gotta level up if I'm gonna go to Belching Betty.
That'll be in 2 weeks from now.
All right, that's enough. That's enough time to level up. My husband's been calling it the ash hole.
Ash hole. Yeah, so that'll be in 2 weeks. We'll be playing the next week. We'll be loving to hear there in the community. Please send in your Roundtable character feedback requests. First things first. Second helping to at gmail.com. We'd love to hear your 5 minutes to keep it over. That is fine. To the send us your 5-minute audio feedback to hear about your character's adventures through those quests that we just talked about today. Alex, I was just going to ask you a little bit about your Roundtable character. I didn't know. I see a lot. You're playing your main character a lot. Do you have your Roundtable character going on? I can ask you. Last time you were any stuff going on with that character?
No. I've been slacking on her. I kind of like what I originally came up with, but I haven't made any progress. I'm way too attached to my mutant savage beast.
Even though you liked it, and what come up with that you had liked?
One of the perks that I rolled is Bloodsucker, and I developed this whole thing that she would. Her name is Avery. She's an old lady, very gaunt and sickly looking, and maybe a little bit like Smeagol. And she's just like really into blood packs. So she was a blood donor technician before the bombs dropped. So with that Bloodsucker perk, it focuses on blood packs. So figured she'd just be very obsessed with where can I get blood packs. And since she's also a raider, where can I steal some blood packs maybe? But so I was
Raiders
working.
Is your faction?
Yeah, I was working with that idea, and I haven't touched her just because I have connection issues with my other guy. I can't leave him.
I hear that totally. No, that's great. But thanks for coming on to help us through a lot of the info. You're always
I love coming on.
Trove.
Discussing the game.
Hey guys, before the evening, we need to visit Radioactive Rebecca, who was sending us in some communique from.
This is Rebecca. I've come to the Corvega assembly plant now. This place is huge. There were some dead raiders and a destroyed turret outside, so it's beginning to look like we have a superhero clearing our path for us and keeping us safe. unless we start messing around with robot controls. Luckily, it seems our hero has cleared the building too, and I've found some terminals. Gristle's terminal, caravan. Took down another caravan today. Hell yeah, that makes 3 in 1 month. To top it off, Freddie came by with the good news that another caravan is headed our way. Says he spotted some guards, but it's mostly civilians. They've even got an old broad dressed like a fortune teller and some joker in a cowboy hat. Gonna ask Jared for more men to take this caravan down. That fucking hat is mine. Jared's terminal. Setting up shop. Gunfire's finally quieted down. Suppose that means either Lonnie and Gristle wiped out the last of the feral ghouls, or they're currently serving as someone's meal. But now Lexington is secure, I can finally get to work. Stumped. Nothing is working. The old woman, she used to just huff some jet, pop some pills, and then she'd start babbling, spouting vision after vision, and they all turned out true. The raiders burning the town, killing the parents, stealing the kids, stealing me. I remember the look in her eyes when she saw my fate. Kid, you're going to be a monster. Get that sort of power, that's the Commonwealth, the other gangs. Yeah, but nothing's working. Maybe I need to try upping the dosages. I'm going to need another bucket. Subjects. It's not the chems. They're just a trigger for the site. It's me. I'm the problem. Wish I'd realised it before my arms looked like pin cushions. But at least it's a new lead. I need subjects. Experiments continue. Still no successes, but the rumour of free chems has brought plenty of new recruits. Ranks are nearly back up to where they were before we cleaned out Lexington. Lonnie thinks it's a waste of time, says we need to spend our time building up our defences. But Lonnie doesn't make the decisions, I do. She does seem to be enjoying her new position, though. Maybe another dose of psycho will get her visions firing. She's here. Gristle says there's a caravan headed this way. Some joker in a cowboy hat with a laser musket, 3 civilians, and 1 frail old woman dressed like a fortune teller. It's her. I know it's her. I sent Gristle to collect her. I wonder if she'll recognise me. Of course she will. She saw this coming after all. Someone snubbed out Slag and the Forged. Words hazy on who did the deed. And out. Was about time we posted some extra guards anyway. So I wonder who the joker in a cowboy hat with a laser musket was. I've got a feeling I wouldn't have liked him. Here's another terminal. Lonnie's terminal. Lexington was. Fire. Jared is setting us up with a big car factory for now. Apartment. Swept through the town again today. Gristle and I flushed some of the ghoul stragglers out of a box. Already got my eye on a nice one at the top of the building. Been wanting a place with a view for a while now. Need another turret. I've asked Jared for another turret down here. He says he's working on it. He ain't just blowing me off so he can get back to playing with his chems. We need another turret. This pipe access into Lexington has been great for us so far, but if we don't defend it properly, it might as well be an open invitation for anyone looking to get in. Drinking party. Gristle and the boys almost got us killed the other day drinking down here, making all sorts of noises. I didn't want to miss the party and stumbled in through the pipe. Luckily, liquor, and were able to still shoot straight. Jared. Still haven't gotten our other turret down here. Too much time and caps into trying to figure out this site thing, when what we need to be doing is securing this place. I'm going to talk to him. Gristle says I'm just going to make him mad, but someone's got to make him see reason. And that's it from Corvega. Let's see if I can find a way out of here.
Radioactive back a good luck. I always needed luck getting around it. That's for sure. Always that one weird turn to get up to that elevator, to that platform, to get up to the second place where Jared and those guys were. There was always just some weirdness to find that little stairwell or whatever. I could never get around that. Fuck Corvega though, seriously. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Fallout Feed. Jen, thank you so much for coming on. It was wonderful to speak with you.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I always love being on here.
Wonderful to have you. Josh, a pleasure as always, sir. Thank you for coming on again.
Thank you very much for the invite. I appreciate it.
And Alex, wonderful to have you again, sir. Thanks for hopping on.
My pleasure.
I'd like to thank everybody for listening to this episode of the Fallout Feed, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, the Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.